and a warm welcome to everybody who has joined us. My name is Oge George. I'm the founder of Northbridge Collegiate. So this evening, we are joined by Sanjeev Sharma, a licensed Canadian immigration consultant and principal of Shamhav Immigration Services in Ontario, Canada. Sanjeev has over 15 years of experience and has supported hundreds of individuals and families in successfully moving to and settling in Canada. While he has expertise with student permit applications, his expertise spans all areas of Canadian immigration. We are also pleased to have Neko Bossi with us this evening, a licensed realtor and principal of Neko Bossi Realty. For families considering accommodation options upon arrival in Canada, NECA brings a wealth of experience and is known for helping clients secure housing that aligns with both their needs and their budget. Both speakers are highly respected in their respective fields, and I encourage you to learn more about their work by connecting with them on LinkedIn and exploring their professional profiles. So while our speakers take a few more moments to prepare, we will begin with a short video introducing Northbridge Collegiate.
Canadian Standard of Learning, now available in Nigeria. Designed as a university preparatory institute for senior secondary and post-secondary students, Northbridge offers small class sizes guided by experienced educators. Our environment is intentionally small, ensuring each student receives tailored support throughout their university preparation and application journey. Supported by a cross-border team, students are introduced to how Canadian universities actually work, reinforcing independent research and analytical writing, active participation and discussion-based learning, group work, presentations, and real university-style assignments. Students build friendships with like-minded peers. All of this within a structured academic setting aligned with Canadian standards. The result is a student who is not only ready for university, but ready for life in Canada.
Over to you now, Mr. Sanjeev. Please take the floor.
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to meet and get to know people in Nigeria. So today, I'm grateful to Oge George for introducing me to the beautiful people of Nigeria. And I will be discussing the various pathways for students and parents, how they can come to Canada, and what are the various advantages of Canadian education. So I'll take you through a few slides, and at the end of the discussion, presentation, we can have a question answer session after we are done with Neka's presentation. Can you switch? Next slide, please. So first question comes, why to choose Canada for high school education? Because any person who's planning to put their children, for Canadian education, they should know what it brings. So overall, if you see the world standards, for quality, safety, and opportunity, Canada will rank always amongst the top countries. It leads the G7 countries in college and university credentials. In fact, if you see the maximum number of university graduates in the G7 countries, Canada is number one. It's a globally recognized education system with strong academic outcomes, very safe and inclusive environment for international students. Canada has one of the best universities in the world, and your initial years in a Canadian high school program, it lays down the various pathways to get into top universities in Canada and worldwide. The emphasis is on critical thinking, creativity, and practical skills. It's a very multicultural society with diverse student communities. In fact, most of the Canadian universities, they take pride On an average, students from 90 to 100 countries are studying in any university at any point of time. There are a lot of job opportunities as well for people who have completed education. And so this is the main eligibility for high school education in Canada. You know, admission for students between grade 7 and 12. Both public and private school options are available, but public will usually be available to people who are already on a work permit in Canada. Public people, they do not necessarily invite international students. Private institutions are generally preferred for international students because they give you the flexibility and they can tailor the programs accordingly. For the school program, students between the age of 12 to 18 are welcome in Ontario. For British Columbia and other provinces, the age is usually 19. But Ontario is the economic engine of Canada. So I've just given you example of Northbridge Collegiate and just an example pathway. So as of now, Canada has imposed a cap on the number of international students which can come in, but it is not applicable on private schools. It's an automatic DLI status, and it does not require a provincial attestation letter to process a student's visa. It's a licensed Canadian high school, operates with official Canadian accreditation and oversight, and offers Ontario secondary school diploma pathway. So this is very important for parents to know that you do not get carried away just by anyone saying that they provide Canadian education. They should be fully designated. You can go on the Ministry of Education website in Ontario and you can check about Northbridge Collegiate. They have a board school identification database number 886341, which confirms your status as a Canadian secondary education. And because of the all these certifications, whenever you will apply for a visa, you will always get strong credibility and trust from IRCC standpoint while evaluating the visa, that it's a verified status of the school. These are the basic study permit requirements. Whenever you apply, we need a letter of acceptance from a DLI, present academic standing, whether you are coming in grade 7, 8, so previous transcripts, proof of financial support, custodianship documents, because children, because they are minors, they will require a custodianship documentation. And then there is a medical and admissibility requirements. So in admissibility, although it does not apply to minors, but they will like to check that no overstay or refugee status or those kind of things have happened in the past. So there are separate ways how to overcome them. Now, once you study in the Canadian high school, okay, how does it lay down the pathway for you to go to a college or university, and from a college university, how to go secure your permanent residency or citizenship? So we are just going to talk a little bit about that. When you study high school in Canada, it provides students with a structured and internationally recognized education system that supports seamless progression into post-secondary studies. It enhances academic readiness, strengthens application profiles, and improves access to competitive college and university programs through a well-supported transition process. So whenever you are trying to get admission in universities, besides the marks, they will also like to see your overall development, what kind of projects or what all, clubs you have been attending in the school. So all these things will matter. Ontario School Diploma is accepted by global post-secondary institutions. It's a direct and simplified pathway to college and universities across Canada. Potential exemption from English language proficiency. They usually do not ask, because when your grade 12 mark sheets go, the universities do not insist on that. But if you are applying from Nigeria during the university time, then you will need to give your English exam. You get great academic counseling and guided university application support, highly competitive due to alignment with Canadian academic standards. So if you look at Canada as home to one of the most globally recognized universities in the world, if you look at University of Toronto, if you look at the world ranking, it is number 20 worldwide. University of British Columbia is at number 33. McGill University, again in the top 50. University of Waterloo has one of the best engineering programs in the world. And similarly, University of Alberta and all, there are excellent universities throughout Canada, and a very sizable number. So you can be rest assured that once your child is passing from this place, if he scores well and he does well in his academics, he can be part of all these globally recognized universities. Now the question comes, let's say this child has studied in the school and then he has cleared his, he has studied in the university. Now what happens? If you do a university degree in Canada or a minimum 2-year course in Canada, you are eligible for a 3-year post-graduation work permit, which we call it a PGWP. During that time, if the child, if the student is able to establish what we say, that he has worked in a skilled job, plus he has some foreign experience and a good band in English, it virtually ensures that the student will get, will qualify for a Canadian PR pretty fast. So to give you a little example, a 1-year experience in Canada and 1-year simultaneous experience from Nigeria for a bachelor's graduate, that ensures approximately 510 to 520 points in the profile, and you can be assured of a permanent residency, a ticket to a permanent residency. And once you get a PR, within 2 years you will qualify for a citizenship, because the time you have studied here, that takes off close to 1 year of citizenship requirement. And you need to understand, Canada has a lot of agreements worldwide with Australia, UK, Europe, where any Canadian below the age of 35, he can go to any part of the world, where they have an agreement. Like a working holiday maker visa, they can go to Australia after they get the PR or citizenship, and they can, live there. So this process opens up, a lot of opportunities for all the students, because Canada has access to close to 183 countries visa free. Now, so can we go to the next slide? Yeah. A lot of parents will, when they are sending their children, they will also like to ask that, okay, what are our options? How can we come in? And although each parent must meet eligibility requirements independently, they do not receive automatic immigration status. So we can do a visitor visa, we can do a study permit for them, a work permit for them, or if the parents are well qualified, we can start working on their PR pathway right away. The thing is that if a parent has a permanent residency or a work permit in Canada, your children pay the same fee as a normal Canadian will. So I will certainly recommend that parents do explore these options. Approval is subject to standard immigration assessment criteria worldwide. So I'm going to share with you a few options. For example, for people who are extremely well qualified in senior positions or owners of business, we suggest that we can have a C11 work permit. You can open a business which will create jobs for Canadians. That allows you an LMI exempt work permit for 2 years, and it keeps on, you can keep on adding another 2 or 3 years to this. And your spouse gets an open work permit. For that, obviously, we can discuss in detail if someone is interested. And it is an LMIA exempt pathway. So this is one option which a lot of high net worth individuals worldwide explore when they are coming to Canada. Next slide, please. Another option is that, let's say if you are highly qualified, some Canadian employer is willing to give you a job, you can take an LMIA based work permit in Canada and you can keep on staying here. It's an employer specific work permit. It requires a positive LMIA approval based on a valid job offer from a Canadian employer. And it certainly helps you, to qualify for Canadian permanent residence. Third option is the express entry. It's the main area how people can qualify for Canadian PR. So there are points for age, education, work experience, language. Good part with Nigeria is that language is, English is your main language, and all the people score pretty well in English. So it's a point-based ranking system, and it covers federal skilled workers, people with Canadian experience class, federal skilled trade. We can help people if they want to explore this part. Then there are various provincial nomination programs where in a province, if they feel that you meet their requirement, they can nominate you for permanent residency. So there are, streams which we can look at. OINP employer job offer, OINP international student stream, in-demand skill stream. It requires a valid job offer from Ontario employer, but the way the things are made, unless the parent is working in Canada, the chances of you getting the nomination are a little remote. They prefer people who are within Canada. Can we go to the next slide? Yeah. So understand one thing, all applications are assessed by IRCC based on multiple factors, and decisions will vary depending on applicants' credentials, supporting documents, program specific criteria. All of you are well aware that nobody can guarantee a visa, but if the file is well prepared, the chances become very high. Usually the policies, Canada has a very stable immigration policies for the last 35, 40 years. But one should be aware that things change, without too much of a notice. We certainly help you with strategic and professional planning along with the professional assessment. And we strongly recommend that you do that before we submit any application. I'm a chartered accountant with over 20 years of professional experience. I'm a chartered accountant and MBA in finance. I'm a registered immigration consultant as well in Toronto. We specialize in education, family, business, immigration, and looking forward to serve all of you. So in the end, if you have any questions, we will definitely discuss. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sanjeev.